All right. We're here. It's Wednesday night. It's like Christmas morning every Wednesday. It's
4 touchdowns, one game.
It's a holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. It's a holiday. Every Wednesday. It is SEC After Dark. Joining me is Jake Thomas, Jeb Beecham, and Stephen Willis. I'm Corey Burton. Thank you for joining us here on this journey we call SEC After Dark, the greatest one night after dark show this side of the Mississippi. So, John.
What's up, John?
Love the freaking avatar there, Beavis.
Yeah,
that's incredible. So, speaking of Beavis, we're brought to you by we're presented by DeadSoxy. So if you want to have no idea how that has anything to do with Beavis, but we'll go with it. So, if you want to support Ole Miss NIL, why don't you go to DeadSoxy and order some socks? As Steve is modeling for us, you can get some Juice Kiffin socks. You can get any Ole Miss socks you want. And not just Ole Miss socks, but they offer different colors and styles and patterns as well. But what you need to do in order to get your money's worth here is you need to purchase a membership. You get 25% constant discount, free shipping, and a free gift. So you get free shipping on everything. Why wouldn't you get a membership? You should. So visit DeadSoxy.com today. Go buy your socks. They come in a really nice box, which is right over Steve's right shoulder, just like so. And you'll get to enjoy your awesome new socks. You can buy a whole box. You can buy one for each day of the week. You can buy monthly, whatever. Does not matter. DeadSoxy.com. Get your membership today. And as always, stay soxy, my friends. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that our pick lines, and we're still doing picks, we'll probably do them through the bowl season, are brought to you by betonline.ag, your number one source for all your sports wagering needs. If you want to bet it, they have it at betonline.ag. They even have live casino games. So if you like to play Caribbean stud poker, blackjack, or the slot machines, they do have online slot machines. BetOnline.ag is the place for you. So visit the website betonline.ag today. Enter the promo code Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. There are tons of promotions. There are tons of cool things to do on betonline.ag. So make sure you go there today. Enter the promo code Bleav, get your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline.ag is where the game starts.
You know, I actually did go there and check it out, and they have those fun penny slots that I always liked. Ones that just go crazy and make you feel like you just won $1 million, but really it was like 83 cents. But still, it's fun.
Fantastic. Also, anybody that's watching the show tonight, please put in the chat where you're watching from, just to give us an idea of where those people are located. So just put in the chat where you're from, leave a comment. We're going to pick the Army-Navy game because that is the football game this weekend, and we'll see what goes on there. I do want to let everybody know, though, it's time to get locked on pickles. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, that is. They offer a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots and asparagus. This is a family-owned company, homemade on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles have been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now, and they have become the South's favorite pickles. These truly are the best pickles you'll ever have. A strong dill flavor with a Cajun punch, no over sour taste. And this being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at the Pickled Store, pickledstore.com, or at your local Rouse's Market or other Gulf Coast Southern stores near you. Be sure to like Stewart's Cajun Dill product on Facebook and Instagram. Try these pickles, okra, and beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle.
The only way you'd be disappointed is if you do not refrigerate after opening.
Yeah, Corey.
You'll be greatly disappointed if you don't do that. So, and you'll be disappointed if you eat too many of them without a glass of water, because they do have some kick.
Mm-hmm.
So, does anybody want me to kind of break some news tonight?
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
All right.
Break it.
So I'm sitting here minding my own business, trying to get work done as much as possible because my mom is visiting this weekend.
He found out that Bear is Catholic.
Yes.
Nailed it.
So they said, hey, Steven, this just got texted to me, and it's like, hey, look at this. And it was Princely, Yulin, and him liking Lane Griffin's tweet where he had just said, like, he did the thing from Moneyball where he squeezed his hands like, yes. And all of a sudden, he just randomly liked that. I think that was about him. I think Ole Miss fans need to pay attention to Princely Yulin. I'm going to have to work on the pronunciation of that name, and I apologize.
Newman.
Yeah. But it looks like Ole Miss is in good shape to move forward at this. And also, if you go by 24/7, Jerry Hamilton at 24/7, who's one of the dogs over at 24/7, Ole Miss is in the top 2 to get Walter Nolan.
Ooh. I've heard Ole Miss's name connected to him. Not from people who would really know, but it's definitely like
he's
smoke, you know.
Yeah, Ole Miss this year can recruit to the playoff for the first time. This benefit that Georgia and Alabama's had for the last 10 years. Now Ole Miss gets to do that. But
Walter Nolan's a quarterback now?
He's going to get quarterback money.
Oh, yeah. That's all y'all recruit. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But also
promise a chance.
You take the ability to recruit to the playoff. You take a well-funded, well-organized collective, and you add the fact that Walter Nolan's from 50 miles from Ole Miss's campus. Yeah. Ole Miss at least has a puncher's shot in this job.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a huge get. I mean, to get Walter Nolan, he is, in all seriousness, he's one of the best defensive linemen in the country.
Yeah.
You know.
What's going on in your house? I just seen your lights flicker.
Yeah, I was playing with the lights before this, and apparently they liked it. And now they're just doing it on their own.
Tell Casper to quit playing with the lights. It's massive.
Yeah.
His name is Thor.
Thor. Okay.
You watch Ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watch Ghost. Casper, the friendly ghost.
All I know is he's freaking me out a little bit.
He's gonna annoy the crap out of Jeb all night.
All right, so we have a Georgia fan, we have an Alabama fan, we have a Tennessee fan, and I am an Ole Miss fan. And the question that needs to be asked tonight is, did FSU get screwed, and are you cool with it?
Probably yes and yes, honestly.
No.
I mean, honestly, I think they got it. Not saying Alabama didn't deserve to be in there. I just think 4 is a stupid number. I think Florida State definitely did get screwed. But at the same time, the committee made the right decision on the best 4 teams. I hate that Michigan got in because of this cheating scandal stuff, but like Texas definitely deserved to be in. Alabama definitely deserved to be in. And Washington definitely deserved to be in. Florida State definitely deserved to be in. But in the space that they're in, sitting at number 5 is a tough go. Losing Jordan Travis makes them a totally different team. I get the argument. However, they did go 12-0 in a Power 5 conference, won their conference championship, did beat 2 SEC teams. They definitely deserve to be in there, but someone had to be left out.
Alabama 9.
4 is a stupid. 4 is a stupid number.
I mean, one of those teams was a 5-7 Florida team who is absolute garbage. So it don't matter.
I'm not saying Alabama didn't. I'm not like I was sitting there going, okay, they got screwed, but who? But at the same time, who are they going to go in over?
Let me throw you this. This out at you guys.
They did beat LSU.
Let me throw this out. If Georgia would have won last Saturday, Texas was going to be that 4th team. They were still going to jump Florida State as well.
Mm-hmm. Florida State was getting screwed because Jordan Travis went down.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know why they're all mad. They are a totally different team, like you said, Corey, without him.
Say that, but they won their last 3 games, including the ACC championship.
Did you watch that game? Louisville.
Okay. Wait. Louisville the week before got beat by Kentucky.
Right.
And
hey, they can't help that. They just went in and played their game and won.
Now, let me throw this out there. If they would have boat raced Louisville, do you think they get in?
Yeah. I think Florida State gets in against any team that's not named Alabama. If we're being honest. I even think Florida State would probably get in over Texas in that situation. If they were the 4th team and it was between them and Texas, I think Florida State would win that. But they're not winning that tiebreaker with the SEC champion and Alabama. and they shouldn't. And the NCAA committees and everybody's talking about these are the 4 best teams. No, that's not the case, because Georgia's not going to this game.
Right.
And nobody can tell me that Georgia's not one of the 4 best college football teams in the country.
We had our shot, and
I'm not arguing that. The reasoning is there. Nobody is going to grab the pitchforks and the torches for Georgia in this situation, but you can't claim the 4 best teams and leave Georgia out, because Georgia had one of the 4 best rosters in college football. But
definitely one of the 4 best.
It's also not the 4 most deserving team. It's like a weird hybrid of both. But they did this in 2014, whenever they started the playoff. It was a +1 model because nobody wanted to get away from the bowl model. Everybody wanted to do that, and they're like, "Hey, we just one more game we'll add to it." So that's how we got 4 teams for 5 conferences. And then it was the luck of God that this did not happen in any of the other 10 years.
They've been predicting it every year. It's amazing this never happened till now. Last year.
Well, when was it that TCU? It was it 2017, 2018 when the whole TCU thing happened?
That was 2014. That was the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when they got left out.
Yeah.
And
And
then
they
should got left out last year.
And by the way, that year,
I agree with you there.
Ole Miss went to the Peach Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, they did.
Yep.
They did. They played. Y'all played what? Houston.
TCU.
Y'all played TCU.
Yeah, we got that TCU team, and they came pissed off. They 42-3 us.
John. Jeb, John's on you tonight.
Oh boy.
And I have no love for FSU. I mean, a lot more than I do for Florida, I guess. But I can understand if any other Power 5 conference team went undefeated and won their championship and then got left out for 2 one-loss teams, I can understand why they'd be mad. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision, because again, if you're looking at who are the best 4 teams, Florida State's probably not one of those. But you can see why they could make the argument. They won every game that was put in front of them, every one of them, even without their starting quarterback.
Here's another
their backup quarterback in this case.
Here's another little scenario. Say Georgia wins, Oregon beats Washington, Florida State wins, Texas wins, Michigan wins. Like
the winner of the Oregon-Washington game was getting in.
Right. So then again, who's going to be that 4th team? Is it going to be Florida State? Is it going to be Texas? And again, it's going to be depending on how bad Florida State.
Probably would have been. I don't know. Florida State was sitting there at 4. Probably would have been. I don't know if they would have jumped at. Like Steve said, Alabama, I think, was the only team that could really
It was unbelievably bad. Like, although I think it was really cool of Florida to boycott the bowl games this year, in solidarity. I mean, that was really cool, especially for your rivals to do that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that was nice of them.
And James Madison, I think, didn't they get in a bowl after all?
Yeah, and I think Jacksonville State did too.
Good.
Yeah,
and Mississippi State's bowl streak ended.
But they might pull a massive thing with Dylan Gabriel.
But do you know what happened?
Yeah.
I think he's going to go to Oregon.
Probably. Do you know the actual result of this playoff system? This year's playoff is
the Alliance.
That we'll talk about that in just a second. But they codified the fact that a 1-loss SEC champion is better than a perfect season ACC champion.
And they did.
But I thought the SEC was down.
They basically just said the ACC is just not as good at football, whether they like it or not.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean,
if you're FSU, you beat 2 SEC teams this season. It makes you kind of mad. I can understand why they'd be mad.
One of them is Florida, though.
Yeah, I know. And LSU's a little down, but
the whole FSU argument, if you're talking about, if you're angry right now that FSU is not in the playoff, it is because that you're looking at this, that every win means exactly the same thing, and it counts exactly the same amount. Florida State beating Wake Forest counts just as much as Alabama beating Georgia, or Alabama beating Tennessee, or Alabama beating LSU. Everybody's like, Florida State beat LSU. Well, Alabama beat LSU.
Right.
I mean, you actually lose that argument too. It's that utopia to where every win counts exactly the same. That's the people that are mad about what happened. If you understand there's different tiers and different levels to a win, you're looking at this thing completely different.
Well, then what Becky said kind of makes sense. Is this going to hurt ACC in recruiting? Because we're saying the SEC is just more important. If you go to ACC, you have less of a chance of making it.
It already does.
Well you do.
There's only like 3 teams that recruit, really.
Yeah, but right now we say that, but now it's like just thrown out there officially. Like we've got it on the books.
It's always been that way. I don't think it's any different. Florida State's going to recruit the same way they recruit all the time. Miami, they recruit because they're Miami. And then Clemson, they recruit because of their recent success. North Carolina will pull a recruit or 2 here. Georgia Tech might pull a few guys here or there. You're going to have now Syracuse is going to be a major player in the Northeast, which doesn't have a whole lot of talent, but nobody in that conference outside of Florida State is going to recruit anything like an SEC level team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're going to have
Vandy.
I think Virginia and North Carolina, they're gone to the Big Ten. I think that it's peace. See you. And I think Florida State and Clemson, they've already been on the phone to the SEC, and it's like, okay, we are working on this. We need to figure out a way to get this done. And I think that
at this point, you kind of have to.
Yeah, Florida's going to put up and fight against it, but you know what? If Texas A&M is forced to deal with Texas, if Ole Miss is forced to deal with Mississippi State, if Alabama is forced to deal with Auburn, Florida can deal with Florida State.
Yeah.
And honestly, you should get Clemson in. South Carolina can deal with Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, get Georgia Tech back in.
That's what I was just about to say that. Just go ahead and bring Georgia Tech back. And honestly,
just wipe your gripes away.
Yeah, and they should bring.
I think they will.
That'd be good.
I'd love that. I'd love
they should bring Tulane back in as well. That should be the 4 teams.
I think that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll bring in Tulane, but I think the other 3.
No, they absolutely won't, because LSU would stomp their feet and everything's like, no, everybody else has to deal with it too. Put your big boy pants on and get it done.
And they're like, no, you're gonna bring in ULM to the SEC. That way, that's our rival.
All right, so now we get to talk about the alliance. I love the alliance. Oh, the alliance is great. The alliance was set up to stop the big bad SEC. You know, the SEC was just terrible.
Hey, there's 2 SEC teams in the playoff this year.
Yeah,
honestly, that's just
7 out of the top 13 are SEC teams from 2024 in the playoff rankings.
Yeah.
So the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the ACC, they formed a coalition called the Alliance. Their whole stated purpose was to slow everything down after Texas and Oklahoma became SEC members. And one of the first things they did was the 12-team playoff that was slated to start this year. They intentionally submarined it. They deep sixed it. It was over. Davy Jones's locker, the whole 9 yards. You can tell it's Army Navy Day, by the way. And they got that done. But the thing about it is, if the 12-team playoff happened this year, Florida State's in that tournament. They get a home game against Liberty. All get to celebrate. Everything goes down. Jordan Travis, it becomes completely unimportant. But the Alliance deep sixed that with the commissioner of the ACC, the Big Ten, and the Pac-12 making sure that didn't happen. The Big Ten used the Alliance to infiltrate the Pac-12 and destroyed that conference to where it will no longer exist next year, essentially. And then you had the ACC.
Not essentially. It won't exist.
Well, legally it might, but it technically, Oregon State and Washington State might keep the branding. But you're right, it won't exist. And the ACC lost their playoff team that could have gotten to the tournament, all because of their selfishness.
Right.
And at the end of the day, whenever you're mad at the committee for leaving Florida State out, you're mad at a symptom. You're not mad at the actual problem. The problem was those 3 conferences in the Alliance trying to stop the SEC because they were scared. They were operating out of fear. And because of that, they needed to do something to catch up. And the way they thought they could catch up, USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon is the way that they figured that everything could be a little bit more equitable. And all of a sudden you hear about Disney's the enemy, ESPN's the enemy. These are all Fox Sports talking points, and it's all Big Ten talking points, because you have a Cold War that is developing between the Big Ten and the SEC, which is going to be the 2 major brands in college football moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
Sorry to rant, everybody.
Soapbox over.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it's interesting, all this alliance crap and all the. But yeah, I think I'm excited for the 12-team playoff. I think we'll get some great compelling matchups.
Ole Miss would have gone to the Horseshoe this year.
Yeah.
Georgia hosted Penn State.
Georgia would have hosted Penn State and would have boat raced them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think
we would do that.
Well, actually, with the 12-team playoff, I don't know that we would have. I don't know that they would have found it necessary to drop us all the way down to 6 after the loss to Bama. I think we would have gone like down 2 spots or something like that.
No, you have to be a conference champion to be in the top 4. So you were at least going to 5. And Florida State, being a conference champion, they'd probably get a bye, honestly, in that situation.
Yeah.
And Alabama's at 5, Georgia, or no, Alabama's at 4, because they would reshuffle everything. But Georgia would probably be at 5.
Aren't there 5 conference champions?
But
4.
But you had the top 4 conference champions get the bye.
Uh-huh.
So one gets screwed.
Teams, the next 4 teams get to host a home game.
Well, that's the problem with having a 14 playoff. There was always going to be one that got screwed.
And I'm going to be honest, and this is something that's probably going to happen next year. But Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee or Ole Miss, whoever hosts a 14 play or 12-team playoff game at home in that first round, that is the biggest game that they've ever played on their campus.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's even for Alabama. That's how cool
the Bowls
playoff is. Yeah.
How about the Olympic soccer tournament at Sanford Stadium? Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you talk about a good recruit. You talk about getting recruits in on that weekend. Man, that would be huge for those schools.
Now, I'm curious to are the recruiting rules different for a playoff game?
Probably. It's probably the same rules that like the NCAA baseball regionals have. I think that they don't run it the same way that it is a normal home game.
Yeah, I don't think you could. I think you'd be allowed to host. I wouldn't think you'd be allowed to host, but I don't know that. It's another frontier.
John, that's not true. The playoff expansion is happening because of money and not because of participation trophy, but it's also probably for parity, which again will make money.
And it'll make the sport interesting, John. You definitely want it. It's not a participation trophy.
No,
it's
not a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, 12-team playoff is nothing. Like FCS does a 24-team playoff, and they get their regular season matters just as much as anybody's. Their playoffs are actually really compelling. The Dakotas are dominating it every year.
Yeah, the thing about the SEC, especially with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, the schedules. I mean, you could lose 2 games and still be in the top 12 next year. I mean, it's going to be it's going to be crazy.
And Ole Miss got to live the 12-team playoff life this year.
Right.
Because they were the team that was on the border to where for the last 3 weeks, Ole Miss fans have been watching like Louisville and Kentucky and, games that directly affected them.
It's going to matter.
Let's be real. The Alabama Auburn
harsh with the rankings too.
The Alabama Auburn game. Ole Miss was a 4th and 31 away from Alabama going to the Citrus Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just crazy stuff. And that happens so many games. It was very much a feeling of the first day of the NCAA basketball tournament, watching the games leading up to these bowl announcements. It was fantastic.
John, I don't think you're getting the point. If the SEC run-up does win the Natty, they had to go through a gauntlet to get there.
Right.
Yeah. New York Giants won the Super Bowl twice as a 6 seed.
Yeah, there's like 9 and 7. I mean, yeah.
And they were the NFC East runner-up.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So, and besides, and I said this last week on this show, and I said it the week before, Alabama and Georgia was the de facto national championship game.
Yeah.
Alabama's got to roll.
Yeah. And by the way, Alabama and Michigan is going to be the most watched college football game in history.
Yeah. And I don't usually
and to make SEC fans root for Alabama. That lets you know what Michigan has done.
Yeah.
That lets you know how much of an evil empire and a villain they have become, and they've impressed. That everybody is just like, okay, we're gonna root for Alabama. Alabama's our only hope here.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, good. grief.
Well,
I can't get it out.
Yeah. What was so
speak Michigan?
What was so funny was when Alabama was announced as the 4th team, and that they had that camera in the Michigan room, and they was like, oh,
it was great.
Yeah.
Like,
God. Yeah.
Play Alabama. Yeah. So,
by the way, for Stacey right here,
I don't have to root for Bama.
They let Florida State. They left Florida State out because of non-necessarily football things. They were worried about injuries and stuff like that. They did not want to touch Michigan, which actually, I mean, it's the same type stuff. The stuff that they said they shouldn't do for Michigan, they did for Florida State. It's all a sham, and it's all for money. And that's actually the biggest thing you could have for the 12-team playoff.
People weren't going to watch that.
They're not going to screw it up.
I mean, Jim Harbaugh was suspended for 6 games this year for
2 separate things.
Yeah. So, good Lord.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. And the Big Ten just pretty much just gave him a slap on the hand. Said, "Here, just take 3-game suspension, be back for your conference championship game, and you win, you'll be in the playoffs."
Michigan knows they have to win the game.
Right.
They have to do it because they know the hammer is going to come down. Mm-hmm. The whole reason they agreed to do that is because they knew the evidence was just overwhelming and people were going to lose their mind, which means Alabama has a chance to do the most hilarious thing ever. And Michigan just absolutely boat race them. And by the way, at the end of that Alabama and Georgia game, they actually ran quarterback powers and things like that with Jalen Milroe. And my good Georgia looked like they were just at a loss to stop. You had to get a stop, and there was just no chance. And if that tells you the play calling that they're going to do whenever the chips are down, when they really need it, Michigan's screwed.
Mm-hmm. Michigan is totally screwed. Georgia had 0 answers for a lot of things that Alabama did. And it came – and the Achilles heel that I've been talking about all season long, the thing that was a potential downfall all season long was the defensive line. And luckily for the first 12 games, the offense helped them out and put teams back on their heels to where they couldn't really kind of get in a rhythm because the offense was putting pressure on the other team. And then the offense couldn't get things going because Mike Bobo goes into super big time shell play calling. He all of a sudden takes the ball out of Carson Beck's hands and says, "Hey, we're going to try to run it 42 times." And that doesn't work. You don't do that against Bama. You do like the first drive. The first drive was scripted. We had Bama methodical. Mm-hmm. We had Bama off balance. Like Bama didn't know which way was. They didn't know which way was up. And then all of a sudden we go into a shell. After Brock Bowers got slung down on that RPO, Mike Bobo was spooked from that point on, and Carson Beck was just done. And the run, like we couldn't run the ball consistently. We couldn't do diddly poo on offense.
You know what is kind of funny and something we're going to talk about over the next 4 weeks or so, getting ready for the game. Michigan could not block Chop Robinson and the other end for Penn State. And now Dallas Turner and Braswell are going to line up and get after the quarterback. They're going to go into their cell and start to run the ball. They're going to try and do that same thing again. They're not going to be able to do that against Jaheim Otis and those big guys up front. Mm-hmm. And if that happens, you're looking at a game that Michigan scores 10 points and they're lucky to get it.
It's going to be like the Orange Bowl 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to get shelled.
Yeah,
they're going to get shelled because they tried the same crap with Georgia. They're going to get shelled. It's going to happen. Like this will be another yawn fest for Bama.
I just wish I didn't hate Jermaine Burton so much.
Oh God, yeah, get out of here with that. Like that dude was more concerned about yelling at fans than he was about celebrating with his team. Dude, go celebrate with your team.
The one thing that kind of confused me on that second to last drive where we needed points, Georgia just left Isaiah Vaughn wide open every single time. I mean, it was him and Milroe each time.
We haven't communicated in the secondary
That's the one guy you don't want to leave open on the team. Honestly.
That's one thing we don't do well is communicate and pass off and checks and things like that. I honestly think those guys are overloaded a little bit with coverages and checks and site adjustments and all kind of stuff. Like I just think they get lost sometimes. Mm-hmm. And guys like Isaiah Bond feast, but and I there's one thing I wanted to say that I don't ever really come after the refs. And I thought it was, for the most part, a pretty well officiated game. I'm going to be the guy that errs on the side of, I would rather you just not make the call than make a phantom call on like holds and like pass interference and stuff. I'd rather let more things go than like call ticky-tack stuff, which I was fine with. I mean, there was a couple things in there in that game, probably both ways. It could have been pass interference. There's some definite holds that didn't get called, whatever, that happens. But the replay right before half of that Isaiah Bond catch, I think the replay official, now, did it affect the outcome of the game? Who knows? We'll never know. I'm not saying that lost us the game, but the replay official, like that's the one part that disappointed me about the officiating crew. They should have reviewed that. Now, if they didn't overturn it, fine, but you have to review. They can't miss that, because that's going to come back. Like, that is going to be a game changer at some point if they miss those. You have a whole crew dedicated to just buzzing down and saying, "Hey, we got to review this."
Yeah, but my favorite part about that is, like, you see like Alabama fans, like, his knees down and he has the ball caught, and it's like, you have to survive the ground. The catch isn't over. Yes, he has the ball right there, but I mean, honestly, that could have been a stand type situation. I've seen that call stands.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could have been.
I'm like you. I'm upset that it didn't get.
You have to review that. Like, you reviewed another catch that was probably more clearly a catch later on. Like, you review it. Like, it's there for a reason. You have to review that. Whether you overturn it or not is whatever. Cry more, Mom.
Oh, come on.
The glasses are on. It's over.
Mega Skeet 420 is on the call.
Hey, what I'm looking forward to, and this was going to be the Ole Miss situation. I think Jeb's probably going to that game, but Tennessee versus Iowa. I want to see that stylistic, the way that goes.
Oh my God.
I want to see that.
I can't wait. I am definitely going. Yes, got my tickets already.
Can dude Milton can they muster any kind of offense? But can Joe Milton throw against that Iowa defense?
He can 40 yards downfield.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Get some nice deep bombs in.
One more time to use that joke.
Yeah. One more time
to use the joke, and one more time to use the Iowa's paying homage to Hayden Fry.
Yeah.
Because Brian Ferentz, this is his last game, I think.
Well,
he hasn't been wearing Iowa branded gear since they announced he was leaving on the sidelines.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I made the trip to watch Penn State and Ole Miss. Watch Ole Miss boat race Penn State.
God, that's gonna be a massacre, Steve. I know you're trying to like keep it suspenseful, but that's a terrible matchup. Y'all should have been matched up with Ohio State.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
They should have
flipped. They got that wrong.
Yeah, they should have flipped.
Mizzou and Penn State would have been a better matchup. And Mizzou probably would boat race them, honestly.
Yeah.
And honestly, Penn State is like Chop Robinson's already opted out, and I think Penn State's a corner or a linebacker from opting out from being able to.
So you broke down a player for no reason. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a danger you have whenever you come to this season, because you have to do it. The main thing that I wanted to talk about was like, hey, it's the Manny Diaz defense. This is what it looks like. We've seen that. You know.
I know. I listened to that one.
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't know if Penn State has a turnover chain. I don't know.
No, what we need to do is before Christmas make a trip. Steve, you and Jeb can do this. Y'all go down to Tampa, watch the Gasparilla Bowl. It's Georgia Tech versus UCF.
That'd be a good game.
Yeah. Hell of a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I probably would. I'm a closet Georgia Tech fan. I have been my whole life. Every night you can ask my wife. I'll just be running around going, "I'm a rambling wreck from Georgia Tech and a hell of an engineer." Yeah, I mean that happens. I mean,
and I'm a Gus Malzahn fan, so it's perfect.
Yeah, and Jake's Alabama has Georgia Tech in the fight song.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. And hell with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Georgia has the fight. Yeah.
Well, we say to hell with
jackets to a watery grave.
Send those yellow jackets to a watery grave.
Yep.
To a watery grave.
That's kind of violent.
Yes.
Or whatever.
I love
not as violent as saying, F Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee too, Jeff. We do that as well.
It's true. I don't like that either. So,
well, Jeb, y'all get to do it next year when you beat Alabama and reclaim the song.
Nice.
That's the trophy for that game now. It's the song.
Who's gonna be y'all's? Oh yeah, Nico's next year.
Nico
should have been this year, but
hopefully Saban's retired.
Stacey, you were late. We talked about that before you got here, but yes,
that one right there is going to be the SEC after dark. That is going to be our pet project. If we expand, if you're going to bring Clemson and Florida State into the league, you need to bring Tulane and Georgia Tech back into the league as well.
100%.
Let's do it. I've always maintained that Georgia Tech being good at football is good for the Georgia rivalry because that game's meant nothing. That game's been extremely irrelevant the last 5 years, but like over the last 20, it's just been relatively irrelevant outside of a couple of seasons.
If they get a couple of defensive guys, their offense is really good. It's just defense. They can't stop
clicking on all cylinders. Yeah. So Buster was a candidate for the MTSU job, but he couldn't beat out Derek Mason. Yeah. Derek Mason back in Middle Tennessee.
Wow.
But yeah, I think that's whenever we're going to hear about the Florida State and Clemson leaving out and trying to go to the Big Ten of the SEC. I think if Ole Miss, if the SEC takes Florida State and Clemson, they should take Tulane and they should take Georgia Tech. It is final. It is said.
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
And Georgia Tech, by the way, it is some of the most beautiful uniforms and it will be in the SEC if they come back. I love Georgia Tech's uniforms.
Good Lord, Steve.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm all in. I'm all in.
I like that.
That far.
And that's absolutely true, Stacey. There's something just weird about that game.
Yeah,
I will say cursed, just crazy.
No, they just need to bulldoze that thing down to the ground and restart somewhere else.
Did y'all see the quarterback that Kentucky got? Speaking of boring,
yeah, Brock Vandegrift.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? Nice.
Yeah. Derek Vandegrift is just, he said, I was just hoping he wouldn't go to state. They couldn't handle that name.
Brock Vandegrift. Yeah. He's that was an interesting transfer. I mean, I knew he was going to transfer because he's like the odd man out with Dylan Raiola come in. And then I think he was getting beat out by Gunnar Stockton slowly but surely during the course of the season. So
John, I think it's a mortgage company. It used to be the Outback Bowl.
Hey John, there's this thing called Google. it's the Googly.
Don't look, Jeb.
Jeb's currently
Jeb's definitely not to do it after he searched Georgia all whites.
Jeb, don't search Georgia Tech all whites either.
Definitely got to stay off some lists here.
But I like that Georgia Tech's on the white helmets. Georgia Tech does have some nice uniforms. I like that they brought the blue jersey back into play.
Yeah. And they wore the stormtrooper. The Georgia Tech stormtrooper in Oxford was just gorgeous.
Oh, the LSU game and the Tennessee game is about the same time, isn't it? I guess I'll be missing.
Now, I wish they would go like a honeycomb like accent to their helmets. That'd be really sick if they did that.
Yeah,
they did that one year under Paul Johnson, and then they haven't really brought him back.
Yeah,
and
so there'll be.
That's why we're elite, Stacey.
Oh,
and he learned from the best.
Oh, by the way, I think they leaked the Georgia 2024 schedule. Got leaked.
I saw that.
And I think it's like Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and then somebody else.
Texas, I think. Texas.
Yeah, Texas is in there as well. It's like
Texas is like right before the cocktail party. It's like the 19th and then a bye and then cocktail party. Something like that.
That's what it is. It's Texas cocktail party, Ole Miss, Tennessee.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But hey, it's the SEC. So what can you do, right?
Hey, and we play Arkansas next year, but we don't get either of the other A's.
Yeah, you don't get Alabama, unfortunately.
Yeah. We don't have Auburn.
Alabama.
Which means I get to talk so much shit to Auburn fans.
Oh, there goes our cleaner.
For 18 more months.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And they hate it. I even have Auburn fans on Twitter come at me. It's like, hey, Ole Miss has never had a Heisman Trophy winner. Because I always say good luck in the Music City Bowl, whatever they say. I think they have won New Year's Six in the last 10 years, but they're supposed to be relevant all of a sudden. Yeah.
Well, Steve, you never had a Heisman Trophy winner, so.
Yeah. We have the same problem with ours as Peyton Manning had with his.
It's that one random generational player comes along.
Yeah. They gave it to like an Oklahoma quarterback just randomly. It's like, well.
Generational defensive player that stole it from him?
No, just gave it to somebody that didn't deserve it.
Did Charles Woodson win it twice?
Charles Woodson shouldn't have won it once.
That's what I was saying. People get mad at me for it, but whatever.
Dude was a badass.
Stacey, Zach's my boy
at
Locked On Auburn. He's a fantastic guy, and I like working for him. Yeah, he's good. And we like to go back and forth each other, and his fan base hates me. My fan base hates him, and we actually like each other.
It's a mutual agreement there.
Hey, I got some news. I'll break some news here.
Okay.
The target date for the most interesting podcast in the world on the
Locked On Vandy.
Locked On Vandy.
Is the target date is starting Monday.
Nice.
All right. Tell the SEC After Dark people. Give us a taste. How are you going to go into that first show?
Well, we're going to talk portal. We're going to talk portal stuff. We're going to talk quarterbacks. Because Vandy has no quarterbacks. We're going to talk portal targets. We're going to talk a little basketball, just to kind of check in on what's going on, but mostly portal recruiting stuff with it being early signing day, so right around the corner. So, going to look on how Vandy's going to build the roster because they got quite the roster to build.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that Ole Miss has offered Will Shepherd. That's the wide receiver. I think they Humphrey, who's going to end up at Georgia, likely.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Humphrey's going to end up at Georgia. Shepherd's going to end up in Mississippi somewhere, either playing State or Ole Miss.
Georgia's going to end up getting Trevor Etienne. It looks like.
That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, I didn't know he was in the portal.
I'm loving that. Loving that. Absolutely loving that.
Is it live already, Corey? Locked On Vandy on
no, it's not live yet.
Well,
I have my onboard meeting, my YouTube onboard meeting on Friday, so it's not. I don't think it's searchable. I mean, it's up, but I don't think you can find it. I've subscribed to a bunch of the Locked On channels, as the Locked On Vandy, but I don't think I'm visible yet.
Okay. I'm pretty fired up. Locked On Vandy. And that leaves that Mississippi State is the only school in the Southeastern Conference without a Locked On branded show. For better or for worse. I mean, it does take a lot of work. For 3 episodes, they had one, but that was about it.
3 episodes.
I love somebody made 3 episodes.
Yeah, and
quit
because it was too much work, and it's like, man, don't go to my site if you think that was too much work.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Stacey Coleman Hertzler, defensive coordinator, is a really good hire, but they do have a offensive coach, a head coach that has never been a head coach, and you have a defensive coordinator that's never called a defense. So you have good coaches, and Hertzler at Ole Miss was pretty good.
Oh, speaking of good hires, the Aggies Texas 8-4 made a good hire.
Yeah, but their transfer portal, they did not make a good hire for retention.
No, they didn't. Well, Colin Klein is a good play caller. He's a good offense coordinator, but they'll be okay.
And defensive coordinator, they're probably going to bring somebody over from Duke or something like that. I mean, it's going to be Elko's thing.
Yeah. Apparently, a kid that played for me at Father Ryan came over with Elko from Duke as a player personnel person. Sean Cook played for me at Father Ryan. Just saw that today. I was like, what the hell?
Ole Miss got a visit from Key Lawrence from Innsworth this week.
Corey, check the private chat.
Check the private chat. Okay.
We have that. Oh, Locked On Vandy.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a video on there already.
Yeah, that's what. Is that you? I mean,
no, it's from Locked On SEC.
Yeah, it's from Locked On SEC. Okay. I'm live.
You basically just got tagged, huh? Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Live. Okay.
Nice.
Yep.
There you
videos.
Go.
Yeah, that is me.
There's a live video on there, and then
you got 3 subscribers, and one of them is me. So
one of them is me.
Yeah, go to Locked On Vandy and subscribe, everybody watching the show.
And one of them is me.
Yeah, and go to Locked On Ole Miss if you haven't and subscribe.
I'm going right now.
And go to Tide Talk Live if you haven't and subscribe. Mm-hmm. And go to Bleav In Georgia Dawgs and subscribe. And Jeb, wave at him.
You can subscribe without clicking on anything for Jeb.
You got 4 people now, Corey.
Hell yeah. Stacey. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother.
That's probably bigger than the Mississippi State site.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can last more than 3 days. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, really. Talking about Vandy football, at least you're going into stack out.
Yeah.
Stack out time.
Jeez, I know. This is
Jeb is such a loser. Man, everybody's on Jeb tonight.
Really? What the hell?
This is going to be an interesting deal as I go through my first season. Basketball sucks. Football sucks, and they're losing everybody. But hey, when I finally get some traction, I'll really get a big bump when they do a coaching change next year.
I mean, the good thing about it is, me and Steve was talking about this before.
Daniel Hottie Toddy.
But there's like 40,000 people in the portal, so I'm sure they'll be able to pull somebody.
Oh, yeah, they'll be able to pull somebody. I don't know if they're going to be any good, but they'll be able to pull somebody.
I mean, there's a ton of people in there.
See, the difference between us and Colorado is Clark Lee did not say he's bringing his own luggage, and it's Louis.
Yeah. Do they need like the luggage to be Tommy Hilfiger now?
Now the luggage is hold on, what's the budget brand of luggage? It's Samsonite. No, that's nice luggage. What's like the budget brand of? I don't know luggage brands, unfortunately.
No, either.
American Traveler.
There you go. It's the American Traveler like 1960s suitcase. That's what he's bringing. Where it's like, yeah.
Oh, Becky's in the chat now.
Yeah.
I mean, Stacey, you've heard me. Do you really think I need a podcast? I mean, honestly.
Locked On Vandy, Daniel. I'm crazy. I know.
We have been promised one all summer long. And then
wanted summer rental. We were waiting on that.
I have been unnaturally lazy. You're right.
I mean, you have no excuse now. The rider strike's over with. If you was waiting on that, it's done.
I think that's summer rental right there.
There you go.
If it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, you built the set for it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's there. I just got to do it.
Police Academy over here. So, we got stuff we can talk about.
What are you waiting on, Jeb?
I don't know.
Hey, speaking of, I saw the 4-episode Beckham documentary.
Why?
Oh,
I don't know.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
All right. So those are always kind of hit or miss. They're either really good and insightful, or just basically them repeating Wikipedia pages.
Sponsored by a wine bottler.
Oh, there you go.
Well, welcome to Locked On Vandy, sponsored by Arrington Vineyards
and Fine Cigars.
Yeah. Dude, if I could get free access to Arrington Vineyards, I'm definitely down. My wife likes that stuff. That'd be some great date nights.
There you go.
It's gotten to the point right now that every time I
let me write that down. Hold on.
Every read that I make for your company is $75. It has gotten to that point. Every time that I advertise for your company on a Monday, if I read a script about your thing, that's $75.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to the point where I've basically priced out I'm priced out of small businesses around Ole Miss.
7 more subs on Locked On Vandy, I'll beat Bleav In Georgia Dawgs. Just kidding. I got 410 now.
I was gonna say that's not good.
Georgia's such a saturated market, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
On my post-game show after the Ole Miss Georgia game, I got 16,000 views, and most of it was Georgia fans laughing at me. And a lot of people barking. Oh, I loved it. It's like, thank you. I get paid for that. And it's like, I'm making all kinds of money. And everyone's like, hey, I'm really showing you. I'm like, come on, you know?
So, Steve, here's you want to see my issue here? See this green sign right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For Steve? That's command stripped to the wall. That ain't coming down.
Uh-oh.
That's
you probably need to figure out a way to put something over the top of it.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
But yeah, these definitely these I'll replace those with pictures.
Get you like a little towel that says a big old V on it and just hang over it or something.
Yeah, I thought about doing something like that.
Yeah.
I'm a digital designer now, so I'm a graphic designer now. That's what I teach instead of video production. So I can make some stuff.
Yeah,
this helmet right here will get replaced by my dad's 100th win football that I signed because I played in that game. That's what'll go there, and I'll just like rotate hats through. I've got, if you look, little background information. That's Tupac and Biggie.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So they'll be in my set.
What's the bat?
I've got Indiana Jones and Lane Kiffin.
The bat is I went to the Louisville. Hold on, let me get it. I went to the Louisville Slugger Museum.
Oh,
Came away with a bat.
that's cool.
I used to make those in woodshop.
Corey's got some cool Bama gear back there too.
You need a Mr. Commodore plushie.
There you go.
So that's what the voice of God has to say.
Oh, and
yeah, we saw that last week, I think. Yeah.
I got plenty of stuff here.
What was
now
that?
My first shoe.
I thought that was like Tom Dempsey's boot.
My sponsor.
These nuts.
Got him.
Fantastic. Hey, we probably need to do our picks.
Put that on display.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of 5 books. That's one of 5 books that I've read in my life.
I've read
5.
I've read
Proudly at
about
5. Yeah, I'm very much the Simpsons Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've come here to lead, not to read.
This is an interesting book right here.
Caddyshack.
Huh.
Cool.
Okay, Corey's gone down a rabbit hole.
I was gonna say, are we showing off our books? Because I got another bookshelf full of books.
Yeah.
This is getting out of. We need to make our picks. This is getting out.
Yeah,
of
we do.
Yeah.
I'm showing off my entire library now.
You know what? It's time for everybody to get locked on pickles. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles. It is offering a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots, and asparagus. This is a family-owned company, homemade on the coast of Mississippi. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles have been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now.
Whoa, it's a family show.
And they have become the South's favorite pickle. These are truly the best pickles you'll ever have. A strong dill flavor with a Cajun punch. No over sour taste. This being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh and local from the start, keeping the final pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at the Pickled Store or just pickledstore.com or at your local Rouse's Market or other Gulf Coast local southern stores near you. Be sure to like Stewart's Cajun Dill product on Facebook and Instagram. Try these pickles, okra or beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle.
Can we add one more game so that, like, if I win, I get out of last place?
There ain't another game this week unless you want to do NFL.
That's what the bowl picks are for. That's what the bowl picks are for.
Yeah, let's do an NFL game.
No.
There's got to be another college game. There's got to be some like FCS playoff games.
We're not doing that. I don't know anything about the FCS crap.
Did you know anything about some of the Big Ten games we picked earlier this year?
No, that's why I lost them.
Exactly. Hold on. Let's see here.
No, we're just doing Army and Navy, and we have 4 minutes to get it done.
There's some.
Yeah.
No.
What are the rankings right now?
Shut up, Jeb.
Shut up, Jeb. All right, Army.
I'm starting to see why Stacey thinks I need my own podcast. I'm obviously very good at this.
What was your record last year?
Who can remember last year?
Me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Our Army Navy. What order are we doing this in?
Oh, Jeb, you got a good.
No, did not. Stacey, I did not say graphic design is my passion.
Yeah.
Beecham. Oh man, I don't know if I can do that.
Beecham with Beecham.
Beecham with Beecham.
Oh, we don't have to actually show them.
Oh,
We don't need to see them. It's fine. Take that down. It's gross. It's gross.
No, I think it's pretty cool.
It's one game out of last place. All right, so
I went 2-5 last week and still somehow in second. I thought Steve was going to jump me.
Nope.
You still might. All right, bowl season's going to be kind to me. I'm going to make a run here. Bowl season.
There we go.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Also, I can put a link in the chat if y'all want to join a real live bowl pick'em. It's $10 if you want to join a bowl pick'em.
He's got $10.
You don't apparently. All right.
No.
So, just bet one on behalf of the new baby, the baby Thomas. All right. So Army is 2.5-point favorites over Navy in the big game. Army versus Navy. Steve, go first. I know why you're picking Army, so go for it.
What? Okay. I just want everybody to know that whenever you get to a certain point in your life, just salt water gets into your veins and the sea becomes your way of life. Everything that is focused around the sea is your life. And these sailors, they're going to do a tribute to the submarine service in the Navy, the silent killers coming in there, and they're going to be they're going to be ready to go. And you got these backpackers, these armies, there's dirt in their fingernails. It's just crappy. And I just think that salty sailors are going to be the way to go in this game. So give me the Navy.
Says Mr. Shore Duty.
I don't want
5 years.
Go live.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
Dang. Ooh.
He could smell the ocean close enough.
Yeah.
Smelled it on my uniform when I came home.
I saw Becky leave every time. Every time.
And you picked me up when I came home.
I did.
Oh yeah.
And I
Didn't
missed
carry
you.
my
And I
seat bag
missed
for
you
me,
were
but
gone. But yeah,
whatever.
I rode in a Zodiac.
Oh,
Backpacking Army versus the mighty Navy.
the world's finest Navy.
Nuclear Navy.
I'm picking the boys from West Point. I'm a big believer in Jeff Monken.
Okay.
They've done a tremendous job over
Beck,
there.
We got it.
What?
Oh.
Thanks, Corey.
That's wrong.
Oh yeah. Backpacking Army. I'm taking the boys from West Point. I'm getting in a tie at the last place. I'm gaining a game on you, Becky.
No.
Either that or you're going to be 500 after this week.
Or I'm going to be five. No, I'm definitely not going to be 500. It's going to because the boys from West Point. They're not going to let me down. They're going to win.
Hey, with any luck, Becky will be like a D after this is over.
I'm so stupid. It took me too long to get that joke.
Oh
my God.
Kiss of death from Corey. Army's screwed.
And by the way, can we just say that Becky's win total's nice?
Yeah.
Giggity.
Nice.
Giggity, yeah.
Giggity.
That's what Corey's shooting for right there.
Giggity.
He just wants to go into the playoffs, being able to do that. Giggity. And
Seems like Corey be all Navy for that.
I don't want
But
to negate his bad juju, but the number one picker in this league is also taking Army. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Attaboy.
I like Army. I think they've ended the season on a 3-game winning streak. They beat Air Force. I think they're just rolling. I'm gonna take them to continue.
Attaboy, Jeb.
You sound so dumb right now.
Army's offensive coordinator is Tony Franklin. I'll just let everybody marinate on that.
So I was looking at this game, and because I watched a little bit of Navy this year against Notre Dame, and I was really going for Navy because I hate Notre Dame. I have not seen anything about Army, but I was just looking through the history of this game from 2002 to 2015. Navy dominated and won every single game in that period of time.
Kid Niamato-Lolo, baby.
I think there was maybe 2 or 3 games in that 14, 15-year stretch where it wasn't even close. The 2 games was like maybe within a touchdown, maybe even less. Other than that, it was a complete domination.
Giggity.
From 2016 to present time, Army is 5-2 in this game. Army's kind of got some momentum riding this game. 2.5 points. Give me Army.
Army's the better team.
And Cassidy is taking Navy, so she's with our Navy men and women.
Is that Mississippi State? I don't
Holy shit, you want to have a fist fight.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I don't even have
has
a response for that, you monster.
Sorry.
That has too big for you now, Steve.
No, it's got like
Oh, okay, I got you.
yeah.
Go Navy, beat Army.
Go
That's all
Army,
I
beat
gotta
Navy.
say.
Shut up, Stacey.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame. I did.
All right, Corey, you got 2 minutes, buddy.
All right, I got 2 minutes. All right, so that was the world's shortest picks, but we are the greatest show this side of Mississippi. If you want to find us on YouTube, subscribe. You can find us anywhere you find your podcast as well. The After Dark channel is a great place to go. In the off season, we're going to do some more movie reviews and hopefully some more 1923 reviews if they'll come out with season 2. But we'll find something to review. You can find Steve at Locked On Ole Miss. He is absolutely killing it there. He's a scoop now. You can find Jake at Tide Talk Live. Him and Stacey are roll tiding their SEC champions, so hopefully they enjoy the playoff.
I'm sure.
Find all their
to
content
the
there.
Phone.
You can find Jeb
until we meet
right there.
once more. Here's wishing
Find him
you
right
a happy voyage home.
and you can find my voyage home with Locked On Vandy, Bleav In Georgia Dawgs, and the seasonal Illegal Motion College Football Podcast. So for Jake, Jeb, and Mr. Navy himself, Stephen Willis, I'm
Mr.
Corey
Short
Burton.
Duty.
This is SEC After Dark, presented by DeadSoxy, Stewart's Kitchen, Dill Pickles, and BetOnline.ag. All your greatest places on the short line. So we'll talk to you here next week. Hopefully, giggity. And go Dogs, anchor down, and boiler up.
Yeah, and green is not just the Stewart's Catch Until Pickles logo tonight. It sounds like Becky's pretty green as well.
Yeah. Roll Tide, everybody.